Coming up on BG Today, the hazing case of Stone Foltz could make it back to court, how one ex-student is trying to take back his standing.
And a community mourning in the wake of a shooting, the events that led to 3 dead at the University of Virginia.
Plus, Falcon football picks up a program-defining win over their arch rivals, how a thrilling last-second touchdown led to a highway bragging rights.
Live from the campus of Bowling Green State University.
Up next, an ex-BGSU student is suing the university after suspension for hazing. Welcome to BG Today. I'm Claire Mitchell.
And I'm Jenna DeBlasi. Chase Weiss claims his rights were violated during the university's disciplinary process. Weiss was one of 8 students disciplined by the university following the hazing death of Stone Foltz in March of last year. Now he's refiled his suit after a U.S. District Court judge said Weiss was required to identify himself. He's seeking a reversal of decisions made during the Code of Conduct hearing and a reinstatement of his standing at BGSU. Though Weiss did interview 5 witnesses, he says he was not given the chance to cross-examine his accuser. A case management conference has been scheduled for December 5th.
The Ohio State Board of Education voted Monday to send an amended resolution to a full board vote opposing a proposed regulation that would protect transgender students under Title IX. The divisive move comes as many around the country are celebrating Transgender Awareness Week this week. On campus, the university's LGBTQ programs are highlighting the visibility of the trans community. They're tabling all this week to bring awareness to the violence that trans people are facing right now. On Friday, a vigil will be set up on the 4th floor of the Union, and it'll stay open until Tuesday.
The holiday season for a lot of us means parties with family and friends coupled with lavish meals and sweet treats. But we often forget that many people don't have a home to celebrate in or have food to put on the table.
Right. In honor of National Hunger and Homelessness Awareness Week this week, I went to campus to see the contributions that are being made for 2 very important causes. Poverty and food insecurity are 2 of the biggest issues facing the United States and the entire globe. According to the USDA, 34 million people face food insecurity and 500,000 people in the country are in a state of homelessness. Every year, National Hunger and Homelessness Awareness Week falls the week before Thanksgiving, highlighting those less fortunate before many of us get to travel to our warm homes and dine on a delicious spread. Organizations like the Falcon Food Pantry at BGSU are working to combat the nearly 40% of college students that go hungry.
Not too pushy or anything.
Right.
Just tell them that they're welcome here anytime during the week. They can come once a week and fill the bag that we give them. We give them reusable bags.
Right.
So yeah, we try to be gentle.
Right. Touchy subject.
Yeah,
Sure.
It's a touchy subject.
The Falcon Food Pantry offers food and hygiene products to BGSU students and staff. All they need is their BG ID. Now, the idea for the pantry was thought up during the pandemic, where it was especially challenging for students to obtain food, or if international students found themselves stuck on campus, unable to fly back home.
So, talking to the professor that runs this, Dr. Orr, she was mentioning how during the pandemic, even beforehand, she noticed that college students were really in need, but especially with the pandemic, during those times, she noticed that people really needed it, especially the ones that got stuck here, that weren't able to go home.
The pantry gives about 500 bags of food away each month. And for this week, other offices on campus, like the Dean of Students, have a variety of events offered to students to give back. There was a t-shirt bag making activity yesterday. It was a simple craft that will reach beyond the walls of the university.
So it's a sustainable project where we are then repurposing those t-shirts into food bags that we are donating to, I think, 4 or 5 local food pantries in BG that are then going to use those bags to give out toiletry items, foods, food from their food pantries, things like that.
Today, there is a gallery exhibition in room 201 in the Student Union and a Falcons After Dark event on Friday that will test students' knowledge on the cost of items. And all week long, the Office of the Dean of Students is taking donations outside their office. But donations are always welcome because hunger and homelessness doesn't end when their week of awareness is over. All right, we're going to switch gears now. New information coming in this afternoon. The man accused of killing 3 football players at the University of Virginia was just denied bond. A vigil was held at the university Monday evening to mourn those killed. 2 other students were injured, and police have identified the suspect as University of Virginia student Christopher Darnell Jones Jr. and said he was arrested about 75 miles outside the Charlottesville campus. Now, Virginia Governor Glenn Youngkin highlights the need for community support in this very fragile time.
We've got 3 young men whose lives were cut so short. It's a moment for all of us to recognize that families are going to need to be supported. And the community here needs to be supported. It's just horrific.
Just devastating. Back on Falcon soil, students and staff are reminded of their community's support here. The university supplies ALICE training instructed by BGSU police in the event of a hostile intruder.
Out in Toledo, a very large ship can be seen from the docks of the Maumee River. However, only so many know about the history of the James and Schoonmaker and its ties to another familiar ship. Our own Steve Iwanek went out to find out more.
On November 10, 1975, 31 people were killed in the sinking of the Edmund Fitzgerald over Lake Superior. 47 years later, the National Museum of the Great Lakes is celebrating the Edmund Fitzgerald by giving citizens an opportunity to take a tour of the replica ship. Today, I'm going to do the same. The Colonel James S. Schoonmaker was displayed at the National Great Lakes Museum in Toledo over the weekend. The cargo coal carrier was built in 1911 and is an exact replica of the infamous Edmund Fitzgerald.
In Northwest Ohio, there's definitely not another lake freighter to tour or another tugboat to tour, and it really gives, Toledo that tie to the Great Lakes that we have, always had. I mean, Toledo is here because of the Great Lakes and the Maumee River, and has it been a Great Lakes port community for its entire history.
Inside the ship, tourists had the chance to see what it was like to live on and operate a ship so critical to supply chains during the 20th century.
Yes, I was a guest with my family. I think it was like 1972 when we were on the ship. My dad was the superintendent of car utilization at the dock in Toledo, and he would make sure that there were enough hopper cars when the Fitzgerald came in so that they could unload.
The ship will be back open for tours beginning in May. Steve Iwanek, BG24.
What a beautiful story about an amazing ship. If you are interested in taking a tour in the spring, visit the museum's website for more details.
All right, Aaron, it's finally starting to feel a little bit more like November around here. I'm pleased to report, like low 30s going on right now. It snowed yesterday. It's cold outside. I'm loving it. What can we expect going into this week and into Turkey Week?
A lot more of the same, Claire. It's finally the right time of year for snow, cold temperatures, and most importantly, turkey. Today, we have a high of 38 degrees and a low of 30, but it's going to be kind of gusty with winds about 10 to 15 miles an hour. You have about a 30% chance of snow today as some flurries fly around. Tomorrow, we have more of the same, snow showers, high of 33, low of 20. With these snow showers, though, I expect them to stick just as well as the Toledo lead in the last minute of a game, so not at all. On Friday, we have sun and a high of 28 and a low of 16, and we are going to continue to cool down as we go into the weekend. We have a high of only 29 Saturday and a low of 25, cloudy on both days. Sunday is going to be more of the same, a high of only 26 and a low of 18. So it's going to be pretty chilly going into Turkey Week as we all gain about 5 pounds this week, Claire. and we're all going to be a little bit overweight when we come back in.
That's okay, that's what jackets are for, and the jackets are here to stay now because it's going to be 18, it's going to be in the teens. We're going to have to take out our snow car brushes, finally. Had to do that yesterday because it snowed. Not mad about it. Thank you so much, Aaron.
Thank you.
All right, well, now many of you may have heard of this. The Tiny Desk concert first launched in 2008 after an NPR host and editor left a music festival feeling really annoyed and frustrated that they couldn't even hear the music over the crowd noise. Now, BGSU has its own version in the form of the Live and Loud series, hosted by Falcon Media. The show works with up-and-coming local artists, spotlighting their original music. And after the performance, each musician sits down for an interview segment. Interested in watching? Well, you can enjoy 2 a month, and they can be found on 88.1's Local Chaos, airing daily from 10 to midnight and uploaded on the Falcon Media YouTube page. All right, well, our talons are high. They are pointing to the sky after a big BG win at Toledo's Glass Bowl last night.
Everything BG Sports coming up next.
Falcon Media allows anybody, regardless of their major, to kind of share their interests in a forum where they can be as professional or as relaxed as they want and really just make connections.
Through the radio, I was able to have my own radio show and talk about things that I want to talk about, and then I could also report and learn more about what's happening in the community with BG24. So it's kind of like a perfect mix of how can I use what I'm passionate about to serve the people around me.
But people who had similar goals and people I could learn from and feed off of and kind of expand, grow my tool belt, if you will, kind of learn from people who are going to school for the exact same thing I was.
Falcon Media is great. It allows people of all groups come together and make content. It allows them to explore their interests and give them valuable skills they can use out in the real field, especially if they have an interest for broadcast journalism or print journalism.
Welcome back to BG Today. I'm Steve Iwanek. BGSU football earned a monumental win last night in a thrilling game against the Toledo Rockets in the Battle of I-75. The Falcons came to the matchup off the heels of a blowout loss at home against Kent State last week, but BG found a way to bounce back in a big way. Wide receiver Odu Hilaire had an unbelievable game. He led the way on the offensive side with 8 catches for 246 yards and 2 touchdowns, including this sweet one-handed grab. But the highlight of the night would come with just under a minute to go. Here's quarterback Matt McDonald stepping up in the pocket, and he finds his running back Teron Keith over the middle. He bounces off a couple Rocket defenders, and he is gone for the game-winning touchdown, and BG reclaims the I-75 trophy with a thrilling 42-35 win.
It was definitely a action game, how that thing ended. Wow, incredible. But I'm proud of our players. I'm proud of our staff, the families, and BG can have that trophy for a year.
BG, their first bowl eligibility status since 2015. The Falcons end the regular season next Tuesday in Athens against the Ohio Bobcats. BGSU volleyball clinched the MAC East Division over the weekend after a sweep in New York against the Buffalo Bulls. In total, Jelianese Torres racked up 48 digs on the defensive end, earning MAC East Defensive Player of the Week. Freshman Lauren Hovey led the way in kills with 26, making her the MAC East Offensive Player of the Week. The Falcons have earned a first-round bye in the MAC volleyball tournament. Their first match will be on Monday. Now, however, we still do not know who will be hosting this year's tournament. As of today, BG and Ball State are tied for first place in the conference standings at 14-3. The Cardinals are hosting the Toledo Rockets tonight at 7, while the Falcons are in Oxford for a match against the Miami Redhawks. BG needs a win and a Cardinal loss to host the tournament, as well as clinch a share of the overall regular season MAC title. Ball State holds the head-to-head advantage over BG, so a Cardinal win would result in the tournament running through Muncie. Women's basketball hosted the Wright State Raiders on Monday night for the 2022 home opener. Behind junior guard Nyla Hampton's 24 points, along with a double-double from senior Alyssa Brett, the Falcons cruised to a 102-72 win, and they are off to a hot 2-0 start this season. And the team always loves coming home and putting on a show in front of the Falcon faithful.
The crowd rocking to start the game with 6 points in about 15 seconds. It was just, it was a really fun opener. There's a lot of things that we'll learn from this moving forward. Wright State's a hard team to guard. They really space you out. They're patient. I thought it really challenged our defense. I thought offensively we had some really good synergy. I thought we played really connected and shared the ball and took our shot as a team.
The Orange and Brown's next matchup is against the Indiana Hoosiers out of the Big Ten. Tip-off from Bloomington is tomorrow at 7 p.m. Men's basketball suffered their first loss of the season on the road last night against Wright State, 80-71. Senior guard Leon Ayers III led the way once again in scoring with 22 points. Up next for the Falcons is a Saturday afternoon matchup with St. Bonaventure in New York. It's once again another busy but successful week in November. For BG Athletics, reporting live from Studio A, Steve Iwanek, BG24 News. Back to you two in the newsroom.
Thanks for watching BG Today. Follow us for the latest news on Twitter at BG24TV or find us on the web at bgfalconmedia.com.
And we won't be back next week. Next week is Turkey Week, a much-needed break before mid-finals. We're at the finals. Kicks in. You excited for Thanksgiving?
I'm so excited. I'm ready to see my family, go back to my hometown, just be able to relax a little bit. What are you most excited
Unwind. Well, it's finally, I know, if you couldn't tell earlier, I'm excited about the winter. It's holiday vibes outside. I'm excited to go home, see everybody, and then come back and finish out the school year. Well, we will be back. I promise we'll be back with updates from around Bowling Green and Wood County. Have a good afternoon and a happy Thanksgiving. Yay.